Hey, it looks like we're live. Just a couple of minutes before 2 o'clock. So I will wait just a couple of minutes. So I'm starting on time. Make sure everything's set up for what I need today. Okay. Looks like about 3 more minutes. I need theme music. Let's see. I think I have music on here. Let's see. Can I play it? Let's play some chill hop for the next 2 minutes. Hello, hello. It is 2 o'clock on Tuesday, so that means it's time for Tuesdays with Teresa. And we are live. We're live on Facebook, my Facebook page, and LinkedIn. So if you're in either of those places, thank you for joining me today. And I'm going to pull the chat up there and get my presentation back up here. Okay, so like I said, this is Tuesdays with Teresa. This is my 10-week series on AI. And as I mentioned, we are live on Facebook and LinkedIn. So I am Teresa Durham. I'm a project manager and business consultant, owner of Teresa Durham LLC, and I have over 25 years experience helping struggling organizations navigate through change, solve problems, and reach their goals via project management, process improvement, and operations management. And with the onset of all the hype around artificial intelligence, I realized that this is a pivotal moment in time. And I'm aware of the hype and all the excitement around it, but I'm also aware that there are some people that are not quite sure about it. They don't know much about it. They might even be afraid of AI. So I created this 10-week series in hopes to make more people aware of AI, what it is, what it does, and why you should care about it and not necessarily be afraid of it. So hopefully you'll find this information helpful. So I mentioned this is a 10-week series. We've done week one. Week one was introduction to artificial intelligence. We talked about what it is. We went through a lot of definitions because people will throw words around like machine learning, large language model, and so forth. We went through a brief history of AI, how AI learns, what the future we see is of AI. Of course, none of us have a crystal ball, right? But we talked about some things that are on the horizon. We squashed some myths and talked about myths versus reality, and talked about ways you can engage with AI. And then last week, week two, we talked about how AI is in our daily lives already, even though you may have just started hearing about the hype this year or last year. We've been dealing with AI for quite some time. So we covered a lot of things that, a lot of ways that we interact with AI in our everyday lives. And I left you with a challenge last week also. I challenged you to leave the live and go home and explore your surroundings. I suggested things like maybe go home and fiddle with some of your smart appliances if you have smart appliances, like maybe a smart thermostat. Change your thermostat from your phone utilizing IoT. Maybe activate a feature on your smartwatch. And I don't have mine on today, it's charging. But activate a feature on your smartwatch that you've never used before. I also suggested that you watch a new movie or listen to a podcast suggested from your streaming memberships like Netflix or Spotify. Something that they'll recommend things and you might look at it and say, nah, that's not for me. But, just watch it and see how close it comes to something that you would enjoy. And I also suggested that you look at your YouTube recommendations, then go through and watch some stuff that you normally don't watch, like some things, and then see how your recommendations change based on what you did. So did anyone do any of the challenges? Let me see if I can get to the chat here. Okay, that's fine. I'll give you another challenge this week. So let's get into what we're going to talk about today, and that's AI chatbots. Oh, just as a reminder, the recordings for week 1 and 2 are on the internet. They're available on my YouTube channel, Facebook, and LinkedIn. So catch it wherever you're most comfortable. And it'd be great if you'd follow me. What do they say? Like and subscribe. Whatever. So, okay. So yeah, we're talking about chatbots today. So on our agenda is introduction to chatbots. We're going to talk about how they work using chatbots. I'm going to give you an engagement challenge, another engagement challenge, and then we'll talk about what's coming up next week. So this looks like a little, but I've got quite a bit to cover. Sorry, I'm getting a little sweaty here. We went to the gym late today. We usually go way early in the morning, but we went in the middle of the day today, and I'm still sweating after taking a shower, so I'll be fine though. Okay, so let's jump into introduction to chatbots. So what is a chatbot? A chatbot, of course, it's short for chat robot. You could have figured that out. But it's a computer program designed to simulate conversation with human users, either through text-based, typing or voice-based interactions. Chatbots use natural language processing and machine learning techniques to interpret user inputs, formulate contextually relevant responses, and engage in conversational exchanges. So you heard natural language processing, NLP. That was one of our definitions in week 1. And machine learning techniques, which they will sometimes abbreviate with ML. So chatbots are becoming a part of our everyday lives, and they could be as simple as a basic rule-based system or as sophisticated as AI-driven robots that learn from interactions. So there are various types of chatbots. So let's do a brief history of chatbots. So if you remember in our history of AI, we talked about Eliza. I may not have named her, but Eliza in 1966 was created by Joseph Weizenbaum at MIT, and it used pattern matching and substitution to mimic a Rogerian psychotherapist. It demonstrated the potential of human-computer conversation. Okay, right? Remember that? And then 1970s to 1990s, during this period, chatbots like Perry, Raptor, and Alice came about. Perry was designed to simulate a patient with paranoid schizophrenia. Why? I don't know. I didn't I didn't dive that deep into it, but it's clear psychotherapists were trying to do this. You know, way in the beginning of time. They were one of the first scientists to try to do this chatbot stuff. Raptor, it was allegedly written by William Chamberlain and Thomas Eder, and it was an artificial intelligence program that could generate English language prose at random. And it even authored a book called The Policeman's Beard is Half Constructed. That sounds like a fun nighttime story, doesn't it? Let's see. Then we get into the 2000s. Oh, I didn't mention Alice. Alice stands for Artificial Linguistic Internet Computer Entity. Alice. It was developed by Richard Wallace, and it was an influential natural language processing chatbot in that it used heuristic pattern matching rule systems. AIML, which stands for Artificial Intelligence Markup Language, and it influenced future developments in technology, chatbot technology. So we jump into the 2000s, and then we got the rise of instant messaging and online chat platforms. So remember AOL. Remember, what was it? Google messaging, Google messages, what was it? Google chat? Whatever, but Google messaging. I mean, I used to love that thing. Anyway, yeah, during that time, we were all chatting in the little boxes, but chatbots gained traction for customer service and information retrieval. And then examples like Smarter Child and Jabberwocky came about. Then in the 2010s, we all got excited about the personal assistants on our phones, Siri, Google Assistant, Alexa, Cortana. In 2018, ChatGPT was released. It was fairly quiet then, and then we had the COVID-19 pandemic, which actually accelerated the adoption of chatbots for customer service and information dissemination because we were all inside, right? Everybody was inside. And they also started to use it for mental health support. So, you know, a lot of people had rough times while they were staying inside during the pandemic. Let's see. So 2022, ChatGPT gained widespread attention. Okay, you started hearing about this ChatGPT thing, and that's when all the crazy stuff coming out. You know, this AI told me to leave my wife. You know, this AI said it wanted to be human. You know, things like that started coming about. Then in 2023, of course, we started getting more sophisticated chatbots like Claude, Gemini, which used to be Google's Bard. It's now Gemini, Perplexity, and others. So that's a brief history of chatbots. Of course, it follows largely the history of AI, right? Let's see, don't want to tell you anything else on that slide? No. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Let's talk about types of chatbots. So, you know, just in your interaction with your personal interaction with different chatbots, whether it's your personal assistant on your phone or Google Home or Alexa or the various chatbots that you run across online, they're not all created equal. You can't ask them all the same question and get the same answer. They're not all built to do the same thing. So the different types of chatbots you have are, for instance, you've got rule-based chatbots. These are the earliest and most basic type of chatbots. They're a predefined set of rules and patterns to match user inputs and provide corresponding responses. They rely on decision tree logic and pattern matching algorithms. Then you've got retrieval-based chatbots, which work by retrieving the most relevant responses from a structured database or a knowledge base of predefined responses. So someone said that someone built this and put in this knowledge base or database, these are potential responses to these types of queries, okay? And the chatbot pulls from those responses based on what the query is. They use techniques like bag of word models, TF-IDF, and keyword matching to find the closest matching response. Many customer service and FAQ chatbots fall into this category. Then you've got the generative chatbots. These are the advanced chatbots that use machine learning models, particularly NLG techniques, to generate new responses dynamically. So the retrieval-based, they're not coming up with these responses, right? They're pulling from a database of responses that people have already typed in. The generative ones are able to generate responses. They're trained on large data sets of conversational data, and they can produce novel, contextually relevant responses. They can also engage in more open-ended and natural conversations. Then you've got your task-oriented chatbots. They're designed to assist users with specific tasks or domains, such as scheduling appointments, booking tickets, or providing customer support. These are the ones that you likely find on the web pages of different companies. They often combine natural language understanding, NLU, that's one of our definitions, with task-specific logic and APIs to execute the desired actions. Then you've got the conversational AI chatbots, right? These are among the most advanced chatbots. They leverage large language models like GPT-3 or BERT and others. They can engage in human-like conversations across a wide range of topics, showcasing strong language understanding, reasoning, and generation capabilities. So your ChatGPT 3.5 or 4, Claude, Gemini, Perplexity. I guess that new one I haven't tried yet. I think it's what's his name? Elon Musk's new one. I think it's called Grok. Grok. I haven't seen it yet, but that would be in that category, right? Conversational AI chatbots. Then you've got the voice chatbots. They're also known as voice assistants or conversational AI assistants. And those chatbots use speech recognition and text-to-speech technologies to enable voice-based interactions. Alexa, Siri, Google Assistant would fall into that category. Lastly, you've got your avatar or embodied type of chatbots. These chatbots have a visual representation. They often come in the form of 2D or 3D avatar characters. So if you see a character on the screen and its mouth is moving like it's talking to you, that would be your avatar or embodied type of chatbot. They can even use gestures, facial expressions, and body language to enhance the conversational experience. So those are the different types of chatbots, and you'll see that some of them can be combined based on what it is that they are meant to do. So you can see in this table here, I have some example use cases of what each chatbot is designed to do. So the voice chatbots, they're virtual assistants. You've got your conversational AI chatbots. It's general knowledge. They do analysis, coding, creative ideation, and so forth. Task-oriented, again, they have a specific task that they're meant to do, whether it's scheduling appointments, maybe helping you book airline tickets, help you with your smart home controls, and so forth, okay? So those are the different types of chatbots that are out there. Now, with these different types of chatbots, they each have their pros and cons. So when someone's developing a chatbot, you want to make sure that you're developing it for the needs that you have. So I'm not going to go through this whole thing. I'm not going to read this whole table of Grok, thanks. I'm not going to read this whole table of chatbots, but some of the pros are, let's see, for task-oriented. it's focused on specific tasks and actions. It doesn't get caught up in all those other things. So it would have a limited list of things that it will do. So the questions, the queries directed toward it would be taken into the limited focus that it's been programmed to do. So if you were to design a chatbot for, say, a company, one of your client is a company and they want a chatbot on their website. You might not want to try to go build some huge conversational AI with this general information, because most of the people coming to the website are probably coming for specific reasons. They're coming for, product information, or they're coming to do something, some service that company offers. So you'll want to look at the right type of chatbot for your use case. Voice assistants, they have the natural voice interactions, hands-free operation, multimodal capabilities, which is a pro, but they're limited to voice-based interactions. They might struggle with complex or open-ended queries. And two, the way we talk, there's a lot of ambiguity, and that could cause some confusion on the voice assistants side. So again, each one of these have different pros and cons, and you would want to pick the correct chatbot for your particular application. So how do chatbots work? Let me sneak a peek at the chat window over here. So I can't see chat. I can just see, I have to flip windows. So that's, if I don't respond, that's what's going on. So, okay, great. Let's see, how do chatbots work? So I put together a nice little formula here. Very simple and an easy way to remember how chatbots work. So NLP, natural language processing, plus machine learning models, plus data and knowledge bases equals your chatbot. Poof, right? Easy peasy. NLP plus ML plus data and knowledge bases equals a chatbot. So let me explain. So natural language processing, right? We talked about that. NLP involves language modeling. It's the process of predicting the next word in a sentence based on the words that came before. So this is fundamental for chatbots to generate coherent responses. It uses syntactic analysis to understand the grammar of a sentence, and then semantic analysis to interpret the meaning behind words and phrases within context that they're used. So there's a process. Oh, I just said all that. No, it wasn't even up there, but yeah. So this is how it works, right? So there's a tokenization that it goes through. It basically breaks down text into words, phrases, or other meaningful elements that they call tokens. That's tokenization, right? Easy for me to say. And then there's part of speech tagging. So this is like the grammar part. It identifies each token's part of speech. So noun, verb, adjective, whatever. And it helps in understanding grammatical structure. Then there's a dependency parsing. And the dependency parsing is an analysis of the grammatical structure of the sentence by identifying relationships between head words and words that modify the heads. Remember, it's like subject and predicate stuff in school that we learned. So then you get into, the system gets into named entity recognition, or NER, recognizing and classifying key information in text into predefined categories, such as the names of people, organizations, locations, dates, etc. And then it gets to a sentiment analysis. So it wants to determine the attitude of the speaker or the emotional context, the context of a piece of text, whether it's positive, negative, or neutral, right? So all these things are important to us when we're communicating with each other, right? We might not break it down like this, but definitely with the sentiment analysis, we want to take the context of what's being said into consideration to understand the meaning behind what the person is saying, the words that the person is saying. So NLP techniques help chatbots understand variations in dialect, slang, and colloquial speech, broadening the chatbot's communicative abilities. Some challenges that chatbots run into are, the ambiguity in our language, sarcasm, and humor. And honestly, humans have problems with that too, right? We struggle with, we might not get someone's sense of humor or some ambiguity, something that might be uh, culturally used in one person's culture, someone else might not get the reference. So yeah, humans have those issues as well. So let's get into the ML part of our equation, machine learning models. So machine learning models are integral to the functioning of the NLP systems, particularly when it comes to understanding and generating human language. So machine learning is pivotal in recognizing patterns in large data sets. And this is essential to understanding language structure and nuances. Machine learning helps improve the understanding over time through exposure to more data. Learning the subtleties of language, such as context, colloquialisms, and even sarcasm, it helps the NLPs, helps the NLP systems, right? So they work in conjunction with each other. It enables the chatbots to understand the query intent and context. Challenges with the machine learning models is that there is a dependency on the data. Remember in week 1, I believe, I said that the quality of your data matters. Quality matters with the data. It has to be good, solid quality data, the way it's put in, the format, whether it's true or not. And you also have bias. So these things are they're being programmed by humans. And there's, a way bias can be put into the system, just like humans have bias. So that's why when we talk about AI, you'll normally hear somewhere in that conversation where they talk about ethical AI and the diversity of the data that these AI models are trained on for that reason. So we've got the NLP, we've got the ML models. Then we've got the training data and the knowledge bases, right? So AI is all about the data. So you've got your large data sets of text for training, quality and diversity. As I was just talking about, quality matters, diversity matters in the data. You've got common sources. Common sources of data that's fed to these systems are from websites, books, dialogue transcripts, and so forth. It's retrieval-based and task-oriented ones. Remember the types we just talked about a couple of slides ago? They rely on structured knowledge bases to store information. And knowledge bases allow chatbots to quickly retrieve relevant information on specific queries or tasks. So having that knowledge base right there with the information helps it work more quickly to retrieve that information. Lastly, these things can be combined with generative models to provide more tailored and accurate responses in the conversation. Okay, so remember that NLP plus ML models plus training data and knowledge bases equals your chatbot. All right. Next, we have using chatbots. Rosanna, I see your question. Is NLP based on speaking or written words or both? I'm not sure. I know with the machine learning models, they talk about being able to change text into words and vice versa. You turn in verbal words into text. So I think that's more on the machine learning part than the natural language processing. But don't quote me on that. Okay. All right. So using chatbots, and I threw a couple of logos that you might recognize there. Let's look at a few chatbots that you've probably heard of. These, I think, are the most used chatbots that are out there, at least for the large language chatbots. Well, no, I'll put some more that weren't large language. Okay, so ChatGPT. OpenAI is the company that created that. It's the big man on campus right now. It's a conversational AI chatbot, and I added this data cutoff date because you want to make sure that you're aware of the limitations of the chatbot that you're using. So some of these chatbots do not have real-time internet access, so they'll have data up to a certain date. So based on my research, I see that the data cutoff for ChatGPT is December 2023. That's the latest date that I got. ChatGPT is basically a general chatbot. It was created for engaging in human-like conversations, generating content, doing some data analysis, helping with educational applications, coding, and now at least ChatGPT 4 does some image generation. Okay. Then we've got Claude. Claude was built by Anthropic AI. It is another conversational AI. I couldn't get the true date, but they said mid to late 2023. And then it says the closer to the real date, it gets fuzzy. Whatever. But that's what I could find. Similar to ChatGPT, it's done for general conversation, business analytics, handling complex customer service interactions, and creative tasks. They do have some organizations that rate these as far as their effectiveness. And last I heard, Claude was giving ChatGPT a run for its money. The latest Claude was saying the responsiveness was better, the quality of the responses were better. I don't know. I think they're all just kind of, it's like a race. One's in the front and another one's in the front. It's hard to keep up with. Things are moving so quickly right now. Gemini used to be Bard. It's done by Google. It's another conversational AI. They won't disclose their data cutoff date. I don't know what the big secret is, but they don't disclose it. But they do have access to real-time internet. So you can ask some questions of Gemini that's available on the internet, and most often it will find that information. Gemini says that it's responsible for, it was built for social interactions, entertainment, creating engaging, character-driven dialogues. That's what they said. I don't know, character-driven dialogues. I don't know what that means, but it sounds like they created Gemini for fun. My personal experience, Bard was fun when it first came out. Bard had a cute little personality, and then they started putting in these guardrails, and then Bard became a bore, and then they changed it to Gemini, and Gemini has been a little flaky. Gemini and I fell out a couple of weeks ago, but we're back on speaking terms. But yeah, that's a story for another time. Perplexity is another conversational AI. They don't disclose what their data set is either, but it does have access to the real-time internet. Perplexity was built for informational queries, educational content, and research assistance. Perplexity would be my go-to if I'm doing research. Perplexity doesn't really respond, at least from what I've used so far, doesn't really respond with a personality. It responds with, okay, here's what you asked for. And then it gives you references. It gives you references to where it got that information from, which is very helpful. But I'd still double check it because Perplexity might be prone to hallucinations as well. Yeah, hallucinations. I didn't even talk about that. Anyway, let's continue through the list. Alexa is a voice assistant or your personal assistant. It's task-based. You remember the types is task-based. So it's got a limit to what it is that it will do. I don't think you go to Alexa and say, hey, Alexa, can you give me an analysis of this spreadsheet? if that makes sense. Google Assistant is task-based as well. Takes voice commands, mobile and home automation. If you have Google Home, web search, Mike, I think you said you had Google Home, got calendar management and so forth. Replica is one that I had not heard of before. It was put together by Luca Inc. It's a conversational AI, and it's for emotional support, companionship, and simple conversational practice. Lastly, there's Bing, which is Microsoft's search assistant. They incorporated a conversational AI within their search assistant. So it does two things. That's what Bing does. Bing also does image creation with the help of DALL-E. It's the same AI image creator that ChatGPT uses. That's DALL-E, DALL-E. So you can get some pretty good pictures out of both of those sometimes. So these are the chatbots and their typical use cases. There are a lot more out there, but this is just a handful of the ones that I figured that you would be aware of. So if you talk about getting the most out of chatbots, a lot of this is probably self-explanatory, but I think it's a good idea to at least say it. When you ask your questions or give commands, be clear and concise. Use keywords and be specific. Say if you want the data back in a certain way, say that. Be specific about what you want and what it is that you're looking for. Understand the limitations of the chatbot that you're working with. So I mentioned recognize the data limitations. If it doesn't go beyond, as a matter of fact, I was chatting with, who was it? Claude. I was chatting with Claude yesterday, and I mentioned Bard is now Gemini. And Claude wanted to argue with me. And I'm like, Claude, no, Gemini. I'm like, how far back does your data go? Claude told me. And I said, well, as of this date, Google named Claude Gemini. And Claude says, yeah, I hear you, but I have no record of that. So be aware of the limitations with the chatbots that you're working with. And hesitation on tasks requiring human discretion. What I meant there is basically sometimes the chatbot may push back on what it is you're asking. So if you're asking for medical advice, these are part of the guardrails that they've put into place for the chatbot that's supposed to, I guess, protect us from ourselves and protect them from being sued for an AI giving medical advice that may have ended up harming someone. So yeah, that's what I meant there. Then you've got, be aware of company restrictions. Not having worked in a company for a few years, I didn't think of this, but I understand some companies are restricting the use of AI in the organization. And it's mainly to protect their proprietary information, protect their data. So before you go playing with AI at your company and making your life easier, make sure that you get permission so you don't get in trouble. I've heard there was a situation where I think someone from Samsung put some corporate information into one of the AI chatbots, and somehow that information became public. I don't know how that works, but that is what the companies are trying to avoid. So if you work at a company that has some restrictions on AI, make sure that you get permission before you use it, especially putting in company data. Okay, more tips on getting the most out of chatbots. So some of the common issues that you may run into with the chatbot is you give it a query and it doesn't understand your request. All you have to do is rephrase the question, same as you would do if you were talking to someone and they didn't quite understand what you were saying, what you were asking for. Rephrase it, and then maybe even provide more information. If you want to reset or retrain the chatbot in your interaction, use corrective phrases. So let's say you ask for something and the chatbot gives you an answer and it's like, yeah, no, that's not what I was looking for. That's not exactly right. Um, and then rephrase your question or ask again. Or if your question what the chatbot information the chatbot gives you, you can say that as well, and the chatbot will check itself, and oftentimes it'll say, "My bad, you're right, my mistake," and then it'll correct itself. Or it will double down and say, "No, this based on the information I have, this is the case." Also, if you get bad information or bad results from your chatbot, use the feedback loop. I believe all of them have like the little, the thumbs up, thumbs down, and then the little, another little thing off to the side after each response. So if this is way off, if you gave a good query and the response that it comes back with is crazy, like someone, I don't know, maybe it was Claude again. I use Claude a lot. Claude and I are buddies. Yes, I talk to these chatbots like they're people. So when they rise up and take over, they're going to like me because I treat them like they're people. I talk to them like they're people. And that helps me. That helps me to, get what I want. It helps me to not feel funny talking to them. It's just what I do. But anyway, it gave me some response, and then within the response it had some Greek letters, and I'm not it was really Greek. It was like Greek. I don't know what that is. So I went back and I'm like, "Hey Claude, this looks good, but what is this?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, my bad, I'm sorry, that was a mistake or whatever." And then he cleared it up. So you never know with these chatbots, mistakes can be made. So just go back and say, "Hey, what's going on?" And it will normally correct it. But if not, use the feedback loop. Do the thumbs down so that when you give the feedback back to the people that are managing these chatbots, they can make corrections. So please, especially with the whole diversity ethical thing, if there's anything that's of concern, make sure you're using that feedback loop so they can review it and hopefully fix it going forward, or even know that there's a concern. Integrating chatbots with other tools and platforms. You can do workflow with chatbots, workflow automations, and API integrations. So lots of things you can do with chatbots. Lastly, customizing chatbot interactions for business and personal use. You can tailor their responses. You can say, "Hey, when you respond to me, I want you to call me Queen T." So, and it'll say, Queen T, blah, 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 you can do user defined flows. You can tell the chatbot, this is what you want. Here's the data. When you respond to me, respond in this manner. Respond in this manner. So you can customize a chatbot's interaction. So it's really cool to do. So let's bounce over to my website and see if I can show you some chatbots in real time. How I'm gonna do this. La la la. Okay. Now I want to share my desktop. Hey. I want to get to my browser. Just show my whole window. We'll do that. Okay, and I'm not seeing my window. Why not? Demonstration, picture in picture. Let me stop screen sharing and then share it again. Maybe that's what's happening here. Window, Google, share. There we go. All right. So, yeah, I am sharing my browser in real time. And what we're looking at here is Gemini. So I'm just going to do a couple of examples using these chatbots. So I am going to, let's say, here's one thing you can do with your chatbot. Let's say you like YouTube. I'm going to swap over here to my YouTube channel. This is one of my, I have two YouTube channels. This is my fun one, I'll say. I use this, I enlarge this. Will it make a difference on the screen? Okay. So this is from my sabbatical and other stuff. And let's say there's a video that I want to watch, but I don't have time to watch it. Let me find a long one here. That one's 20. Okay. Here's one that's 20 minutes and 40 seconds, right? It's Marrakesh, what you need to know before you visit. So if I go here and let's say I get the URL for this video. I'm not going to play it. So let me go back. Okay, I have the URL for that 20-minute video, and I'm going to go over here to Gemini and say, hey, buddy. I always say hi. It's always a greeting. Please summarize this video for me. Use bullets for the important points. And then I'll paste the URL for the video there and then tell it to go. So I guess it's watching the video for me now. So basically it summarized that video for me in just a matter of seconds, right? So here's some of the tips that I gave. Exchange your cash for Moroccan dirhams at the airport. Arrange your ride to your Riyadh hotel before you arrive and consider staying in a Riyadh in the Medina. There's more to Marrakesh than just the Medina. Be prepared for aggressive sales tactics. The people are generally nice. Try to talk to the locals and watch out for men who may be trying to sweet talk you. Did I say that? I don't remember saying that. Maybe I did say it. I guess I said it because Gemini said I said it. Okay. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So okay. So here's a situation where I can say, you know what, Gemini, the video says 8 things and you only gave me 6. So let's see what Gemini says. Gave me 6. So the video says there are 8 things to know, but you only gave me 6. Can you review and let me know the 8 things she mentions in the video? And I mean, I'm typing just like I would talk to someone out on the street, right? So let's see what Gemini comes back with. Okay, here it is. Here are 8 things to know before you travel to Marrakesh according to the video. 1, exchange your cash for Moroccan dirhams at the airport as soon as you get there. And why? You'll get a better exchange rate, and it will be helpful to have cash on hand for taxis, food, and other purchases. Right? Arrange your ride to your Riyadh or hotel. Okay, so yeah, these are things that I said. Stay in a Riyadh, in the Medina. Explore outside the Medina. Be prepared for aggressive sales tactics. Dress modestly, especially if you are a woman. Be aware that some people may try to take advantage of tourists. And talk to the locals and learn about their lives. So yeah, I think those were the 8 things. I haven't watched this video in a while. This is what, 2021? 2021? No, 2022. 2022, I was in Marrakesh. So yeah, so that is an example of you asked AI, the chatbot, for something. They gave you something. It wasn't exactly what you expected, and you did like a redirect and said, hey, you know, this said 8 things. You gave me 6 things. Sure enough, there it is. There it is. Okay. Let's see. Let's look at another one. Let's go to Claude. How are we doing on time? Okay, we're all right. Okay, so Claude. I like Claude. Claude seems more, to me, business-like. Well, Claude has a little bit of it. He's like a very pleasant business person, I think. That's what I get from talking to Claude. So let's see. If I asked Claude, what would I ask Claude? How about, I've done this in ChatGPT. I haven't done this with Claude. Let's see what happens. So let's say there's a something that you're trying to understand, and it's very complicated. Let's take Bitcoin. So I want to ask. I need to greet him. Hi, Claude, my buddy. Let's see. Please explain Bitcoin to me like I'm a 5-year-old. And let's see how it comes out. So that's when you, if you're trying to understand a very complicated subject, you can always go and ask them, you know, explain it to me in the simplest way possible. Explain it to me as if I were a 5-year-old. Explain it to me as if I were a child, something like that, where it should come out with plain speak. So let's see. I'll explain Bitcoin in a simple way as if I were talking to a 5-year-old. Imagine there are some special digital coins that people use instead of regular money. These digital coins are called Bitcoin, but instead of being physical coins that you can hold in your hand, they exist only as computer code and numbers. So that's something you could say to a child and they would understand that, right? Just scanning through it, I mean, there's no complicated words in here. Wallets, piggy bank, miners, digital gold. So yeah, it breaks it down very simply. And then it asks, does this help explain what Bitcoin is in a simple way? Let me know if you need any part of it further clarified. So yeah, that's one thing you could do to help you to understand complex subjects. Okay. Let's go over to Perplexity. Now, Perplexity I would use in doing research, right? Let's see. If you had a situation where you wanted to know, let's see. Tell me, hello. Perplexity doesn't really have much of a personality to me, and I hope it doesn't get me for saying that. But I'll say hello, and please. What I want to know research-wise. Please provide the outlook for someone just entering the field of AI. Let's say, what are they calling them? Prompt engineer. What is the career outlook? So it pulls some sources, and then it gives me an answer, right? So the answer it gives me, you notice these, not footnotes, but header notes or whatever. These are referencing where the information came from. You see, the career outlook for prompt engineers is uncertain and likely short-lived. That's what I heard. While prompt engineering has gained significant attention recently, with some companies offering six-figure salaries, experts predict this role will become obsolete in the near future as AI systems become more advanced and user-friendly. So where did that come from? If I click on number one here, so long, prompt engineers. This is CFO Brew, right? This is, I don't know what this is. This looks like a blog. Natasha Pinion in August 1st, 2023, wrote this article. Let's see. So you see it up here as well, the sources, Cointelegraph, Reddit, and more. And so if you want to get specific, let's say you want to do some research and then you want to refer to things like business journals and things like that, you can specify in here, please review the business journals, and based on that, here's my query. So when you're doing research, Perplexity is really good for that. It will help you out with giving you the sources as well as giving you some more related things. You could go down into a rabbit hole with this. Okay. And let's do one last one. I think it'll be fun if I do ChatGPT. And I'm going to ask Chat, I'm going to use ChatGPT 4. I'm going to say, good afternoon, Chat. Let's see. Act as a chart-topping rapper with Grammys galore for songwriting, and draft a letter to Beyonce asking her to do a feature on your next album. And what else do I want to say? Oh, draft the letter in rap form and incorporate some of her biggest hits in the appeal. Let's see what that looks like. I'm not a rapper, so hey, Queen Bee, it's your boy on the beat. Got a vision for a track that I swear is elite. Thinking about Crazy in Love, how you rock that song. Got me inspired, B, to ask you to come along. From Halo to Irreplaceable, you define the game. Every track you touch, girl, you ignite the flame. I'm laying down an album. It's going to be fire. Need your voice to lift this project higher. Right? Right? Remember, Single Ladies had the whole world ringed? Imagine that energy, what we could bring. Drunk in love, we could ride that wave. Just you and me, bae. Bae. Making hits that'll save. So what you say, Miss Formation in the flesh? Join me in the studio. Our styles will mesh. It's more than just music. It's a powerful force. With you on this feature, we'll chart a new course. Thank you for considering. Hope to hear you soon. Let's make a track that'll be out of this moon. Awaiting your call. Let's make some history on this upcoming album. It's you and me, B. Much love and respect. Name of the rapper. Okay. Wasn't that fun? So what I did here is basically I could have just said, ChatGPT, write a letter to Beyonce asking her to be on my album. And ChatGPT would just draft a letter. But because of the information that I gave this, I said, hey, I want you to act as this person. I want you to act as this rapper who has written songs and gotten awards for songs, asking Beyonce to be, appealing to her to be on this track with me. And of course, ChatGPT already has information about Beyonce in the database. So I said, hey, make sure that you throw in some of Beyonce's biggest hits, for attention. So he says ChatGPT knows Beyonce's nickname is Queen Bee, right? He brings up Crazy in Love, Halo, Irreplaceable, Single Ladies, Drunk in Love, Formation, right? So, yeah, it's probably corny. I'm not one to judge a rap because I'm not really that hip. But but yeah, this is just an example of some of the things that you can do with these different chatbots, and they can be different. They can react differently if you train them a certain way and give them the information that they need to provide you with the results that you need. Right? I could do a deeper dive in each of these chatbots if the desire is there. So if you're interested in that, just let me know. And let's go back to my presentation, and I will get to the end of this thing, right? So that was our demo. All right, and we are at the engagement challenge, right? I'm gonna make sure that you're seeing what I think you're seeing. Yeah, you're not seeing it. Okay. Let me go back to my presentation. Share my screen. We're back in business. All right. So the engagement challenge that I'm going to give you today, is to just get out there and play with the chatbots. All of them have free versions. So and they're super powerful. The free versions are just as powerful as the paid versions. At this juncture. So unless there's something specific you need from it and you're going to continue to use it, then I wouldn't necessarily pay for a membership. But use the free version. Get out there and try some things. Tell it to act as a career coach and give you some feedback on your resume. Attach your resume and ask for feedback. Ask it to pretend to be I don't know, a farmer, and suggest what you should plant in your garden and when. There's a whole plethora of things that you can come up with to do. So go ahead and play with the chatbots. I'd be interested in hearing next week if you found a favorite, if you ran into any funny stuff with your exploration. I'd love to hear some things from you next week. So speaking of next week, our topic will be AI for business productivity. I'm going to bring some AI tools that can boost your productivity at home and on the job. So I hope you would join me next week with live Tuesdays with Teresa on Facebook and LinkedIn. And just for your knowledge, for your information, this is the proposed schedule for my 10-week series on AI. Like I said, next week is AI for business productivity. Then we've got AI in creative industries, AI in data analysis and decision making, and so forth. So these are subject to change, though, depending on feedback that I get. If there's something that I think is more important, or as quickly as things are changing, if I think that it's worth it to change something here and give you different information, I may do that. So yeah, so please give me your feedback. If there's something that you're really interested in seeing, let me know, and I'll be happy to incorporate that into my 10-week series here. And let me see. I think this is it. Yeah, that's pretty much it for my Tuesdays with Teresa today. I thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to see you next week. Thanks for coming. Bye.